Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live today on a Wednesday. It is our second show of the week, and we are super excited to have the one, the only, Miss Bev Smith. So, we are going to let some people join, waiting for Bevy to join, and I am super excited. Sorry, I was thinking I needed to put on a filter, but I don't. Here we are. Happy, what are we going to call today? Talk Wednesday? Meeting. The amateur expert. What are we calling this, guys? Hello, hello, welcome. Hello, hello, welcome. Thanks. Perfect, TT. Oops. Hello, everyone. Hello, pin comment. Hello, everybody, welcome. Y'all, I had to put on nice clothes today. We've got a fashion maven that will be joining us. Had to let the clavicle pop a little bit, you know what I mean? Super excited to have Miss Bevy Smith with us. She'll be joining us soon. Hello. Welcome to the Amateur Expert Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, we'll be discussing Bevy Smith's career path, her ideas of success, and her tips and motivators that she used along the way. If you haven't already, purchase her book, and I'm sure that she's going to talk to us more about it and the importance of buying it. But I just finished the Audible, and I swear to you, I feel like I was just having lunch with my homegirl. Amazing story, amazing history. Y'all, Siri just thought I was talking to her. Sorry about that. Welcome. Hey y'all. Hello. Happy Talk Wednesday. Tiara asked about my vision board. Yep, my vision board is back there. I made that in 2019. Repurposed my, it doesn't matter what I repurposed, but yeah, there we are. I believe Miss Bevy Smith is with us. So let's get her added. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Pumpkin.
Hello. I had to put on a little lip for you, too.
Girl, I just got off my radio show at 6 o'clock, which I was due to be with you at 6 o'clock. So I haven't had a drink of water. I haven't reapplied the lip. I'm just coming to you. I'm skidding in, baby. I'm skidding in.
Well, I'm so happy that you are here. So happy. I spoke to you yesterday or 2 days ago on Clubhouse, and we talked about elevating my fashion sense. So I want you to know that I have on the best wrap shirt for you today. You see, got the clavicles
very
showing.
Nice. Your clavicles, darling. You don't look like a what do you call yourself, an Ellen DeGeneres lady.
Soccer mom, yes. That's I ear more so on the side of Ellen for sure.
You don't look like an Ellen type. Like you don't look severe. She dresses severe.
You know what? Maybe I'll have to think about it. I think it's more like Anne Klein, Talbots, you know?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Which is a little old for you.
Right. And so we just need to elevate it. That's all. But
Okay.
I am so happy to have you here today on the Amateur Expert Show. You did the masterclass with Felicia, and I'd asked you a question, and I misspoke and said about my little podcast, and you said, not on my watch. This is not little. You are doing things. Let's go. So I'm so happy to have you here with us today. I literally just finished the Audible. Your book.
Good.
Amazing. So I want to jump into the questions because I know, like you said, time is of the essence, and you just plowed through your work day. So thank you.
Oh, I still got more work to do.
I know you've got that thing with Sherry
Shepherd. Yeah, so everyone should go on after you leave here at 8 o'clock. You can go on over to see me and Sherry Shepherd at the Tatted Cover. You just go to tattedcover.com. It's a free talk. and it's me and Sherry in deep conversation. It's
Deep,
gonna be more. It's gonna be different. So the book, as you know, is called Lessons from a Mother, Auntie, Bestie. So
Yeah.
when I'm with you, I'm in the auntie role. When I'm with Sherry, I'm in the bestie role. So it's very
Love it.
different conversations.
I love it. Okay, so let's dive in. So there shouldn't be anyone who doesn't know who you are, right? Because where have they been? But just in case, if you could, please introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do currently for work.
Okay. My name is Bevy Smith. I am born and raised in Harlem. I am a media personality, having hosted 2 national TV shows. I also host my own radio show on Sirius XM called Bevelations. And now for the past 3 weeks, I am officially an author, darling. I wrote a book. I'm in the Library of Congress. I'm in
Yeah.
libraries. I'm in Barnes and Nobles. I'm in Amazon. I'm in independent bookstores. And you can find me on Audible. It's like a gag. I got to tell you, it's amazing.
I love it. And honestly, the book is amazing, everyone. And I prefer the Audible because I feel like I've been having lunch with you for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so, okay, so when you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up, and what was the motivating factor behind that?
Wow, when I was a little girl, I got to tell you, I didn't dare to dream very big. I just wanted to kind of have a nice life. I wanted to work in an office
Mhm.
and, just kind of like be able to go to Bergdorf Goodman, which is kind of like the New York version of Neiman Marcus, about 6 times a year and buy myself something special, and have a very traditional life.
Mhm.
And so I didn't dare to dream when I was a kid. I had very practical dreams. I had a
Mhm.
very practical life mapped out for myself, and I'm so thankful that I woke up and I began to dream, and I allowed myself to envision a different type of life for myself.
I
Because I
love
can't
that.
imagine having that life. Not that there's anything wrong with that life.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
good life for someone, but based on all the talent that I have and that I have even yet to expose to the world, there's no way I would have been happy doing that.
I love that. Okay, and so when that was the goal and the dream, the aspiration, what does success look like for you at that point? Or
Oh
what
no,
would have I meant to be a success?
I think, I didn't think in terms like that. See, you guys are like super ambitious as young people and stuff. I wasn't. I wasn't built like that. It wasn't about like I grew up in a community where people worked hard
Hmm.
and where you went to work every day, you did a good job, maybe you got to middle management, but
Hmm.
that would be like the big thing. That would be the
Yeah.
moment.
Hmm.
But all of this talk about what does success look like, that's not a you didn't think in those kind of esoteric terms, because people in Harlem were like, how am I going to pay my kids tuition
Hmm.
if they went to parochial school? How am
Hmm.
I going to, if it's a single mother, how am I going to take care of my children on my salary? It was different ways of looking at things, and people didn't have a lot of time for navel gazing either,
Mm.
which is one of the reasons why early on in my community, I knew that having children too early for me felt like it would be a trap for
Yeah.
me,
Hmm.
because I saw so many people in my community that were young mothers,
Yeah.
and you saw their opportunities be snuffed out. Now, of course, I know a lot of other young mothers who are now incredibly successful,
For sure.
but for the most part, I saw a lot of that in my community, and I was like,
Hmm.
well, I don't want to be that. I don't want to get pregnant and have a baby too early or anything like that. And so I was always very pragmatic in that way. I think I was pragmatic in a lot of ways. Like I said, I didn't even really have big dreams like that.
Yeah.
And it was only until I got into the workplace and I started seeing all these different career opportunities all around me. And I was like, oh, you
Yeah.
can like actually be an art director. Oh, you could be like a copywriter. Oh, you could be a media director, because I'm into advertising. So these are all
Yeah.
jobs that these people
Hmm.
had. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's fascinating. And then I started thinking, oh, well, maybe I could dare to dream like that. Maybe I could do something other than dreaming of being an office manager and making $150,000 a year, which is nothing to sneer at, by the way. Again, a great life. But now when I look at me, who I've become, and I'm this author and this TV personality and this radio personality, and I'm a public speaker and I've been all around the world. But oh no, that dream is way too small for someone like me. But that's the reason why exposure is so important, which is why I wanted to come onto your podcast, because this is young people. And I want to say to all the young women, especially out there, please don't give away your power. Please don't be in such a rush to get married and have kids. Like, do that, of course. I'm all for that. I support families. But what I don't support is women not knowing who they are and not even exploring their interests or their passions before they get into a position where they have to kind of feed someone else before they feed themselves. Because once you have children, they're your first priority.
First. And that's so good that you say that. For me, when I was younger, I thought success. So I come from a single family household. My mom is in here. She's saying, we did it, Ash, going off of the things that you've said. And so for me, I always thought success was having a nuclear family because I saw my mom working so hard, right? And I was just like, I don't want to work as hard as she is to maintain the family life that we have. And so, yeah, and that led me down an interesting path. But anyhow, so you have had a awesome career, and you, based on reading the book, I know your path, and I don't want to share too much of it because I want everybody to read it. But I want to know if you can share with us just a little bit about that exposure and in your journey, right? So as you were exposed to things, that's how you decided to make pivots along your career. And if you can just share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, I think it's, I can't speak enough about exposure. You know, I'm still being exposed right now. I'm 54 years old, you know. I'm about to embark upon, well, I'm already embarking upon so many new things and new avenues of interest. And that's only because I've been given the opportunity now to explore these things. And so what happens oftentimes is when you're just like your mom, you said your mom worked really hard to provide you a
An
wonderful
RN, absolutely.
I commend her for that. That is so lovely. I hope now your mother is taking time for herself and exploring her creativity and utilizing her freedom. Now that she's done such a bang up job on you. But you know, exposure is the thing that really got me to where I am today. Because if I had just stayed on the block gave me so much, by the way. Being from Harlem gave me so much. But if you just have one location and one space and one kind of reality that's all you know, you will be limited. And so I was so happy that my parents always made sure that we did things on the weekends. We took little field trips outside of Harlem, and we were exposed to so much. That was the first kind of exposure that I had. And that meant that when I went into these all-white worlds of fashion and advertising and things like that, guess what happened? I was not afraid or intimidated by white people because I didn't think for 1 minute that they were, because they were different, they were better. I didn't think for not 1 minute that I wanted what they had. I didn't covet their lifestyle or, you know what I mean? Like, certainly certain trappings, right? But certainly not, I didn't look at the fact that many of my white friends didn't really go home for holidays or, talk greasy to their parents. I didn't want to be a part of that, and so it was just very interesting for me that the exposure gave me two things. It gave me a look to, oh, that's possible. And it also gave me a look to, I think I'll leave that one. I'll leave that right there. That's not something I want to go into. I don't want to explore that part of it. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that then later on as I began being exposed to luxury fashion and started traveling over to Milan and Paris, that was really great exposure. But the really interesting thing about all of this stuff is that whenever I was exposed to predominantly white spaces, it made me love my culture, my
Mm-hmm.
community even more, because when you get close up on certain cultures, for me, that's
Mm-hmm.
not everyone else, because some people become enamored, right?
Yeah.
But I never felt like I wanted the code switch. I never felt like I wanted to have blonde hair or I like when you read about Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, a little girl
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
wanted the
Yep.
blue eye and the blonde
Mm-hmm.
hair.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel that.
Yep.
This is a wig, but normally I have my natural hair out and everything. So I can go either which way. I think that, there's freedom in all of that. But um, I love that even though I had a lot of exposure, I always understood where I was from was more than enough. And, I would love for that to get across. I would love for all the young women who are listening, who perhaps think that the standard of beauty, which is like now a build a body,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram model kind of look, I wish they would understand that that is a great look for someone.
Mm-hmm.
May not be a great look for you, and that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always going to be people that find your brand of beauty enticing, attractive, as long as you do. It all starts within you. What's most attractive about anyone is self-confidence and self-esteem. And when they walk into a room, they don't cower. They understand that they can walk into a room in their full power, and they can present, or they can, talk to people that they don't know, people that don't look like them. These are all important things. But instead of worrying so much about our outside, the outward appearance, we have to get right with the inner, and that's so
Yeah.
important right now. And I feel for you young women, because as much as it was, when I was a kid, black guys really enjoyed black women.
Baby.
And, if they wanted something other, it would be like you, because you have a lighter skin and you have longer hair, but it was still like a black girl. You understand what I'm saying? Now it's like, shit. You sitting up there with your little caramel face and your long hair, and they like, girl, move over so I can talk to your white sister that you went to college with.
Yes. Yes, I just moved to LA and the dating pool is it's different out here in these streets, but hey, he's coming. I'm ready when he's ready.
Yes, he's coming, and he's going to appreciate your brand of beauty. And you don't have to shift or make adjustments to yourself unless you want to do that. But if you want to do that, you got to make sure that you're doing it for yourself. A lot of people say, well, I was just unhappy with my butt, or I was unhappy with my nose, or I was unhappy. Were you really? Or did society tell you you weren't happy with these things?
Hmm.
Did
Hmm.
they put the pressure on you, through advertising, through social media and all that? Did
Yeah.
that pressure make you feel like you needed to change and morph into something different?
Yeah, that's good. Um, it's hard in this time, especially with everyone being inside, which is weird, to be your authentic self. It seems like someone's always trying to be someone else. And one of the things that I love about you is that you are through and through Bevy Smith. Like, it doesn't matter which room you're in. And although throughout the book you've given yourself different names, right? You've always been true to yourself, which I think is very admirable. Um, so my next question for you is, you have now amassed so much success, right? You've dreamed bigger, and now you've amassed so much success. So how would you define success today?
Oh, success has got to be now, babe. I've got to have my real freedom. I just
Mm,
need to have my creative freedom. Just this weekend, I sat down and I started like making new notes on a novel that I started 20 years ago, and I'm gonna focus on that. I'm gonna focus on developing certain parts of Revelations, Lessons from a Mother, Auntie Bestie, my book. I'm gonna focus on trying to make certain parts of that either a TV series or a movie. There are different parts in that book that I think could really be just taken out and
for sure.
expanded.
Yes.
Yeah, just freedom, creativity. I just want to be really free. I love that I have this my radio show, Revelations, because I work at 5 o'clock. And it's for 1 hour. I have to do prep. So you don't have to read a book. Sometimes I have to watch a film. But for the most part, I only take guests that I'm actually interested in, right? So how great is that? So that gives me freedom, you know. So that's a really good gig. I want to do something like that for television, but I'm not that interested in going and doing a TV job where it's a job. I had the job, as you know, you read the book. Page 6 TV was a job.
Yeah.
I'm not really that interested in doing a job again. I want to be passionate about the TV work that I do. So I'm putting it out in the universe that I want to do a fairy godmother show where it's like Shark Tank meets Ayanla Fix My Life. And I bring all of the relationships and the connections that I have, and I help people facilitate change in their lives. That's something I'm very passionate about. I know that wouldn't feel like work. I know I would be doing great things. I want it to be kind of more business focused because I don't want to get involved in people's messy lives. Because, you know, Ayanla will be having the people crying and burying shit. And I'm just, you know.
Not
Ayanla
on
can do
my
all of that.
watch.
Ayanla could do all of that. I can't do all of that. So I just want it to be cute and neat. I just want to come into a showroom or into a corporate setting and, you know, put zhuzh on it, honey. But I don't want to, you know, I don't want to dig in the dirt with you, and I don't want you crying snot tears, and that's not my ministry. We all got to be clear about who we are. You know, it's so funny because people think I'm a nice person. I think I'm a nice person too. But they've often said, why don't you try out for like the Good Morning America and the Today Show? As you read in the book, child, I'm not that into kids. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do a segment with babies. Like if I don't want to do that segment, you know, and I hope that people don't hate me for that. I also don't want to do a segment with pets. I don't want to do it. So if you don't want to talk about pets, and if you don't want to hold a baby in the 7 o'clock hour, then you cannot do daytime TV. You also can't have any kind of racy jokes either. So it's okay. It's okay. It's like, I'll pass on that. That's fine. You know, I did Good Morning America. I did The View. I could do all those things. I could hop in and out, but I don't need to listen. You got to know who you are. And I think that the book, because it's a self-help book, written as a memoir, but the book is in there. It gives you all those branding lessons, the brand you, the red soul proposition that teaches you to tap into yourself and to really do the analytical and introspective work so that you can figure out what makes you authentically you, which means that's your secret sauce. That's your gold mine, right? You know, so that's what I want to show in the book, that we all have choices. We all have options. When I turned down a Bravo contract and my lawyer said to me, well, Bev, I guess you have to take it. We don't have a choice. And I said, well, we always have a choice, baby.
My mom says
we always have a choice. We could simply just not do the show. And then we didn't do the show. Then again, didn't get another show for 7 years. But that's beside the point. We didn't do the show.
That's it. So one of the things that I ask everyone that does the show, are there tips and motivators? And obviously your book is jam-packed and loaded with tons of tips. And so I wonder if you can share with us one, a tip and or motivator that you've used along your career to keep you going.
Well, because my career has spanned for so long at this point, I started working when I was 18 and I'm now 54, so that's a long haul. So I want to harken back to something that kept me when I was in a low point, making the transition from advertising executive to being a TV and media personality, and it was trouble don't last always, and everything is as it should be. And so when I was, and someone just said it gets greater later. Of course, that's my number one revelation. But, you know, trouble don't last always. Everything is as it should be, and it gets greater later. Those are my mantras. Trouble don't last always is because a lot of times when you're going through something, oh my gosh, it feels like you'll never get out from under it sometimes. You feel so daunted. You feel so like, why is this happening to me? Oh my goodness, will this ever end? And it will always end.
It will.
It's trouble don't last always. So you just have to keep remembering that. I used to say, you suck on that like it's a lozenge. You know, like a, y'all may not even know what the hell a lozenge is.
A
That's like
lot.
a,
That's one of my favorite words, like a cough drop or something
it's
that
like a
keeps the
cough drop.
tickle. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. You suck on that like a lozenge. Trouble don't last always, okay? And then, you know, everything is as it should be. This is what everyone always tells you, especially when you break up with a man, right? Sometimes sometimes man's rejection is God's protection.
Baby.
Okay? So that's everything is as it should be. A lot of times we don't know why these things happen. And we be like, why is this happening? Why didn't I get that job? Why didn't I get
Yeah, and that's what, so remember I said that my vision of success was the nuclear family, which sort of I think rushed me into a marriage that I'm no longer in, right? And
You were
so,
married already?
yes, ma'am, I was. It was quick, everything about it was quick, but so many lessons learned. So many lessons learned. In trouble,
Oh
what
my God,
doesn't last
I should
always.
have interviewed your ass. Wait a fucking minute. How old
Make
were
it
you when you got
happen.
married, Pumpkin?
32.
Well, that wasn't even so young. You were grown,
Sure.
kind of. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because it is young. But wow, so you were 32 when you bit the bullet, and it still wasn't right.
Wasn't
What do you
right.
think? What do you think? Why do you think you did it? Because you knew it wasn't right when you were doing it. I bet.
So I didn't know it was wrong. Um, I had lots of confirmation that it was the right thing to do. There was something that happened, it's like a spiritual disconnect that he had had, and I felt it wasn't my place uh, to condemn him for his thoughts, right? In hindsight, I realized that whoever I'm supposed to be with is going to have a very strong spiritual connection with God because that's, who I serve.
Yep.
So, but at the time in my immaturity, I didn't realize that that was an okay decision to make. And so I went along with it. Because I mean, there was love there was all of those things, right? And I just knew that there was going to be a change. And there was going to be a reconnection. But it didn't happen. And other things started to fail and things. And so it didn't last.
Yeah, it didn't last. You know, I think that your story is so good because you did it the right way, you know. And I hope that you will share. I don't know if you shared it in a very expansive way on here, but I hope you will because you know this to be a fact. So many of us are brainwashed into believing that marriage is the prize. If we can only, I swear to you, if you can only get married, it will all be okay, right?
Baby.
Don't you?
That's what they tell
Isn't
you.
that what the feeling is? You feel this like there is this whole thing of if you can just secure the man, then you
Yeah.
will be okay because he will make everything right, and it does not work that way. Happiness has to begin inward, and if you're not good with who you are, trying to put that pressure of someone else trying to make you happy, that's a horrible thing to do to someone else. That's the reason why the guy that I mentioned in my book, I can be so kind and generous towards him because as many things as he did to me that were not great,
Mm-hmm.
that's beside the damn point. Because if I had been right in my mind and my constitution, we wouldn't even been together to begin with. He wouldn't have even had the chance to do all those things.
That's it. It takes two, right? Like
It takes
you can
two. And so we have to understand that. And then we also have to understand that we have to stop putting pressure on men in that way. And what we have to do is we have to get to happy. So then when we show up for these unions, these partnerships,
mm-hmm.
then we can really be a partner in that way. And we're not
That's
looking for someone to complete us,
That's
which is
it.
a bag of BS. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about Bevy Smith. It's the bad BS.
The bad one. And but two, let's just also note that they have to be whole in themselves, right? So two
Of
whole
course, that's what I'm
people
saying.
coming
All the
together.
people. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we cannot fix the men. Well, some women love it because it's, but if the women have the mothering spirit, have
I
at
don't.
it. I don't have the mothering spirit.
I
I got
thought
a
so.
mother spirit,
It's different.
which is very different. Like mother is someone who sweeps in, tells you what you should do, and then leaves again. The mothering spirit is going to be there constantly stroking you. You are the best. You is kind. You is beautiful. What's the lady say? You is smart.
You is
You is
important.
kind. And you
You
is
is
important.
important.
And you
Not
got to say that to somebody every single day? Oh, that's exhausting. For me.
me too.
I'm sure some lovely young women out there are saying, well, I'm willing to do that for my good man. And you have added, sister. But if there's a young
Take
woman
them off
out
our
there,
hands.
yes, but if there's a young woman out there that's listening to this and feeling like she might be one of those types that don't really want to be the mother to her man, know that it's okay to say that.
Yeah,
And know that you can find a man who doesn't need a mother, who wants a true partner.
that's
Know that you
right.
can find a man who doesn't want you to acquiesce and to be his subordinate, and that you have to submit. Okay, well, now I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that word. Because then the people go crazy over the word submission.
Right. You're right. Okay, so man, I am so full from this. I'm so happy that I was able to get you on. Thank you. Again. So the one question I want to ask is whew, okay. So what would you advise someone? So you're at the point in your career where you have the option, right, to pick and choose. But some of
Well,
us,
pick the option. I don't have that option. I'm not rich. I don't have that option. I make that option. I choose to have that option.
that's a very good point.
Yeah, because that's how
That
they
is a
get you.
that is a good point.
Yeah, you got to choose to have that option, because even if I had a number one TV show on ABC and had all the money in the world, you could still feel like you don't have a choice, because you could
Hmm.
just feel that way. So,
Yeah,
you have to decide that you have choices in life. You
that's a
always
good point. I guess what I'm trying to ask is someone who's starting out in their career, right? Someone like there are you always have a choice. That is correct. But I think there's something to be said about maybe having to pay dues or starting from the bottom and getting to where you need to be.
certain.
Um, and so what would you say to the millennials who are sort of in the microwave mindset? Um, who want to just start as the assistant and then be the CEO tomorrow. How do you advise um, us?
Well,
What would you share?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't really like to advise you guys against that, because I
Mm,
feel like way too many grown people always coming down on millennials for having these ideas. What I will tell you is this: I think there's a happy medium. I talk to people my age, and the folks that sat up at a damn job for too many years, and now
mhm,
they've messed up. And then of course you have the microwave, generation, and they sit up at a job for 6 months, and they want, you know, it all. But I think there's a nice way to meet in the middle. So I
mhm,
don't want to come down on the millennials. All I want to say is this: you're gonna have to do the work one way or the other.
mhm.
You're just gonna have to. And you cannot name me. Do you know of anyone in your age range that literally is very successful, like, doing very well, maybe has an upper management position, makes hundreds of thousands of dollars, and has all the trappings, that didn't have to actually sit down and apply themselves and do the work? Do you know anyone?
No.
It just is what it is. You ain't no fucking way around it. Sorry for cursing. There's no way around it. It's no way around it. It's no way around it. I wish I could tell you that there was a way around it. So even though you're smart, even though you're capable, even though you're strategic, even though you know social media like the back of your hand, even though you have a big personal brand on social media, blah, 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 you're still going to have to put in the work.
Mhm.
And it just is what it is. So that's the advice I would have to say to the millennials:
I
prepare to
love
do
that.
the work, because you're going to
That's
have to do the
important.
work. And that's a lesson from your mother, Auntie Bestie. Buy the book too.
Buy
Okay?
the book.
Buy
In
the
some
book, buy the
fashion.
Audible, buy the ebook, buy the hardcover book, because here's the thing. I've got tons and tons of real practical information in the book. So buy it. Have your mama buy it. Yes.
So good. So good. Okay, so the last question is, I am the amateur expert and I claim to know a little bit about a lot. And although you have shared a wealth of knowledge in your book as well as with us today on this show, I would love for you to share with me a random, actually, no, I would love for you to share with me a bevelation.
Ooh, a revelation. I done gave you my favorite one. Oh, I got so many, like, well, here's one. A lot of times we like to down ourselves and say that we're not ready for certain opportunities, or, we like to say we have a little podcast, or we have a little show that we're doing, or we got a little fashion line and things like that. I will tell you this. The minute you get paid for something, that makes you a pro. So go forth knowing that someone paid you for a service. And that means that you're really doing it. You're on your way. Even if it's a little bit of money, if someone thought to give you $25 for a t-shirt, if someone thought to give you $10 for a slice of cake, if someone thought to pay you $500 to revamp a website, well, guess what? You're on your way. You're on your way. So just take all the little tiny signs that the universe will give you in life and hold on to them and suck on them like a lozenge and keep them, yes, keep them with you, because you'll need encouragement along the way. But the big breaks don't always look like these big spectacular fireworks. Big breaks come in like little tiny lovely little packages, but you just have to be aware and you have to be open, and you also have to practice gratitude. Because if you live in a space of gratitude, the little things, you can find joy in them as well. I know I did, and I know I still do. And that's the reason why I think I'll always be successful and I'll always be blessed, because I see blessings everywhere.
Well, you have blessed me. I am inspired by your journey. I'm inspired by you specifically, and I am incredibly, incredibly thankful that you did this with us today. It will be rebroadcasted, so it won't just be the people who are with us today. Many people will hear it, and thank you.
Thank you.
I can't say thank you enough. Thank you to Amy. Thank you to everybody that made this happen, and we will be tuning in later on today for you and Sherry. I saw you just posted it, so everyone go buy the book and like Bevy's last post and check her out. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Bevy.
tatedcover.com. It starts at 8 o'clock. And wait, I want to show them the cover of the book too, because I want to make sure they know it. So when you go on your local bookseller, or you go on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, this is what you're looking for. Bevelations, lessons from a mother, auntie, bestie. I tell it like a TI is in this book. Buy the book, y'all. Buy the book. And if you buy the book and you say that you came from the amateur expert, I'll send you a signed bookplate. But you have to buy the book today.
You have to buy it today, y'all. You heard it here.
Today.
And you know what? I'm going to sponsor a book. So if you don't have it, shoot me a DM and we will get it ordered and you'll get your life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Have a great day. We will see you next week. Take care.
Bye, Pumpkin.
Bye.